Hey kids, it's Dad. Welcome to the Gaming with Dad show. Today we are looking at An American Werewolf in LA, which, as far as I'm concerned, is just a werewolf. So, originally released February 24th, 2022. This game is presently on sale for $1.99, regularly $4.99, so that is 60% off. That sale is good through 7/11/2024 at 2 a.m. Central. So, you are a werewolf, but there are worst monsters in Hell's Creek. You are D. Landis, a tormented young man who wants to run away from Hell's Creek to become a pro surfer. When you're about to leave the village in your convertible, Sheriff Nashi steps in your way to capture you because you are a werewolf and monsters have never leave Hell's Creek. Boy, I just cannot read this morning. I need more coffee. You will need to run through some of the most iconic American cities in a frenetic chase, defeating the men recruited by the sheriff. Will you survive the hordes of enemies to reach LA? So yeah, it's a single system, 1 or 2 players, action fighting, multiplayer. Publisher is Arita Games, rated T for teen. It supports all 3 play modes. It is only 157 megabytes on that memory card in your Switch, and it is available in English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Simplified Chinese, and Spanish. So yeah, there is a lot of very interesting callbacks in this game that really tries to evoke that 80s nostalgia feels, and it really fails to do so in a meaningful way. Everything from fighting in front of a thriller marquee to some of the old movie posters on the first level. It tries and fails. That said, it is a beat 'em up, but it's this planular beat 'em up. You don't move in and out of the street, up and down. You left and right. That's it. And that, we'll get into that more. Let's talk graphics. It is pixel art, but your figures are large, well rendered. Visually, the game does actually remind me of some of the beat 'em ups from the NES and Super NES era. I'm gonna give the graphics a 16. They're not offensive, and they're just a step above what we see a lot in these indie games. Sound-wise, does disappoint. This is one of those games best listened to on mute. Sound gets a 14. We're sitting at 30. The controls, relatively simplistic. They are responsive, but there's not a lot to do outside of left and right with the thumbstick and then the face buttons. The controls get a 15. We are sitting at 45. Gameplay wise, yeah, it's a beat 'em up. Beat 'em ups are a dime a dozen, especially on the Switch. There's some really outstanding ones. There's some great ones that have come out in the past few years, and definitely during the life cycle of the Switch. The gameplay, though, it's a button masher. Once you figure out that you kind of have to charge through things, they don't get overly difficult. It's a short little 5-minute or 5-stop trip from Hell's Creek to Los Angeles, apparently. That's still 5 little battle scenes. Each one of them is timed, so it's really just a survive as long as you can survive. You're going to make it through. It's not a get to from point A to point B. You are really just in the same background, which of course saves on budget, but then you just have a time limit that you have to survive. Not terribly thrilling. I've looked for special moves. I haven't found any. If they're in the game, I haven't been able to suss them out. There's no flying knee to easily just cheese some of the villains, like in Double Dragon. It's taken the fighting mechanics from the Shaq Fu remake and dumbed them down. Gameplay is getting a 13. We're sitting at 58, value-wise. Now, I have not played this all the way through. I'm going to openly admit I have not played this all the way through. But even if I am to assume each section is about a 3-minute survival, and there are 5 sections, that means that there's approximately 15 minutes of gameplay before you're surfing out in the sun as a werewolf in LA. That does not bode well for the value, even at $1.99 versus the regular $4.99, $5. That's what I was trying to get at. It's just not there. There's not enough depth to keep you interested. It's a button masher, and I know it's trying to play on those nostalgia feels, and let's see what's in Chicago. Let's go to Hell's Creek. The next stop. Let's road trip across the U.S. of A. And it's just not there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm giving value a 10. That gives us a grand total of 68. There are so many better beat-em-ups on the Switch. Hell, I'd even recommend the Willy's Wonderland that I reviewed a few episodes ago over this, and I have a hard time recommending that game. Yes, there are some neat callbacks, like your main character is Landis. Obviously, that's 80s director, producer, writer of some of the greatest 80s movies of all time. But the callbacks they just don't do it for me, guys. Do yourself a favor, avoid this one. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Comment, all that wonderful stuff for the algorithm, and be good people.